Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. Even though I'm saying that like as if we haven't seen each other. Let me let the listeners know what's going on here.
Yes.
We're I'm going to Europe.
May is a very busy time for the two of us.
Right.
Yes.
So we're getting ahead and so we are just, we're banking the episodes. And this is a pretty evergreen show, as far as like, I don't think you would notice unless we even said it. The royal you, the listeners.
Right.
But, there gets to a point where you're like, we have not shut the fuck up about this topic.
Yes. Well, especially for us because we've been doing like double recordings
right.
For the past few weeks. And we have another one next week because we don't want to leave you guys with no content.
You're welcome. We don't want you guys going without. Yeah, and there, some would say that we're kind of stepping on our own shoes right now. It's like, get ready, we're tired. No, I think these are the best episodes when we've like gotten it out and it's kind of like, like we're just like, we're really spewing.
Agreed. And then, because, we've got to talk about it. We've already talked about everything else.
Right.
And the other thing that's going to be interesting after all of this is when we come back, it's going to have been a while. Right.
We'll be in that. Again, I guess what we're saying is there's no such thing as a bad You Up episode.
Exactly.
When we're fresh, we're ready to go.
Lucky you guys.
Right. So listen, I went to the doctors and I got blood taken and I look like I'm shooting up.
Like from a little bit of a blood?
Yeah, they took. Well, what happened was I had the doctor's appointment in the morning, so I went and got blood taken before. Had the doctor's appointment. They go, "We need more blood taken." I was like, "You got to use the other fucking arm." So now I've been going on stage with these. If you're watching on YouTube, I have
bruise easily.
I guess I do. I have my arms are purple from them. They took the blood, but I was going on stage at the Cellar last night, and I'm like, "Hey, everybody!" with my arms out, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Is he okay?" Like,
Yeah, I mean, it definitely left a mark.
I mean, yeah.
But
if you're watching on YouTube, you can see.
I'm sure.
I mean, this arm.
You have one blood drawn, like just like one prick.
One
and
prick.
that whole thing.
Yeah, listen,
You have a platelet issue.
Something's off. I'll find out next week at my follow up.
Was this just like a general? I mean, I don't want to ask you your personal medical history on the show. But
listen, everyone sign a HIPAA. Just a regular checkup. And when they say, I hate for the checkups, they're like, what do you want to, like, I want it all checked. Like, there's this discussion. Well, they
all the STIs.
Give me every STI. Yeah. I want and a side of fries.
Yes.
Like, I want
HIV, all of it.
All of it. In what world am I like, nah?
I think I'm safe on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Take the blood. Check me out.
Yeah. I always
put
say
the finger up my ass. Get me hard.
Test me for everything.
Right. I don't understand the questions. I was like, what are you talking about?
Some people don't want to know.
I want to know everything except my weight.
Well, you know what I mean? Like some people would say the same thing to that. Like,
right.
Of course, tell me everything.
Right.
And they're like, no.
No.
Right. The best way to avoid a problem is to just never look at it.
That's right.
Not that you have a problem, but I'm just saying like.
That's how I think of my drinking.
No, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. No, I know. Yeah. Like, but this, I'm bad at going to the doctor generally. Like I listen, every woman I've ever dated, like the amount of doctors that you know by first name and you spend an hour with them, like it is beyond me. Like
I got a team.
A team. I am always in shock by listen, this is, again, I don't know what it's like to be a woman. When any time I date a woman, they got this doctor, that doctor. They know them all. There's a relationship. Yeah. They've been passed on. I don't think I've ever even talked about a doctor with a guy. Like
my friends and I all see the same doctors.
Really?
Yes.
You share a doctor?
Yeah, you can. A doctor has more than one patient.
I have never talked to my friends about any doctor-related item.
Well,
I'm like going to an alley and what?
How do you find a good doctor?
A good doctor? What do they need to do? They're all,
I'm always asking people, who is your dentist? Who's your doctor? I mean, unless you got ZocDoc, which is one of our sponsors.
Right. Well, that's why I actually, ZocDoc, like when I hear that sponsorship, I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, that's a fix to a problem like mine. I don't think like, maybe there's a lot of,
maybe men are you're just not as comfortable like asking for recommendations. Because for me, the best way to find anything is what's the best restaurant to go to? Someone I trust. Let me ask them. Who's a good doctor? Who do you use? The best is because like then you don't have to be a person who researches everything. You can just ask the friend who does that
and blame them.
No, but then it's basically like they're doing it for you.
Right. No, well, listen, this is all good points, but I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when like men just don't take care of these things. Rub some dirt on it. Like,
well, that's why we live longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like my dad had a heart attack at 40. So like, you know, and you're like, I remember he like drove himself to the hospital. He thought it was like the flu. Like, because all heart attacks are not like, you know, it's not like grab your chest. There's versions of heart attacks.
Like
but,
more, right.
Yeah, and I remember, but like even before then, like him going to the doctor, like, no. Like, it's just like, and so, you know, I try to be better than he was.
You're
now
checking it all.
they took it all, but.
You know, checking everything. I guess
we'll find out next week.
Yeah, no,
Big reveal.
Get that. Mike is the same way.
Is he a doctor guy?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't get a doctor unless I'm like holding his hand on the way. Like, he's just such a baby too. Like, doesn't want to get blood drawn.
No, I don't want any of it.
I'm like, it's so weird because there's this male stereotype of this, you know, societal, like, not afraid of anything, such a tough person. He's like, I don't want to do the blood.
Well, it's like out of sight, out of mind. Not knowing about it, then you have no problems.
Right.
Right.
But I'm the opposite way, and I'm like neurotic. So I'm like, I need all the information so that I can Google all the information and then create more issues for myself.
Right. I think he's avoiding that. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to find out. I'll let this will be our big cliffhanger. Is Jared dying or not? I mean, Jorge, do you go to the doctor?
Yeah, I love the doctor. I went to the dentist last Friday. Yeah, I actually right now I'm searching for a new what is it, general practitioner?
Yeah,
like a general
I don't
doctor?
even know what the fuck you're talking about. You're searching for one?
Yeah. You can go to different ones and see if you vibe with them. Yeah.
So you've been to the doctor and been like, this is not right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You've walked into a doctor and been like, I don't like this doctor?
Well, you go to like to an appointment and you talk to them and then you don't go back if you don't like them.
Right. I don't know. I literally walked in there. I was like, whoever you got.
Yeah, I'm usually depending on the issue. I'm sort of the same way.
Yeah.
Depends on what I need. You know. Wow. But I mean, I have to say, whatever you're doing is working. You're the only person that I've met, I think, in my entire life who has never had COVID.
Well, if you don't check, you don't get it.
I mean,
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've gotten tested a million.
No, but I have to say, like, you were like,
never got it.
I think you are the only person that I know who has never gotten it, and you have traveled more than anyone that I've met in my entire life.
I will tell you, I have tried to get it, and it is a shock to me. Never got it. I got tested and I would get tested randomly because I'd be doing like a show and they'd be like, for this show, take your test. I'd be like, we're still doing this? Like there were moments like that. You've
probably been tested more than most people.
Probably.
Yeah.
I used to test every Monday or every Sunday, Monday when I came back from doing a weekend.
Yeah.
Never.
You must, whatever you're doing must be.
Like an ox.
There must be something that you're doing. You've never had a sick day into the show.
I don't say, to me, sick day.
It's another toxic.
That's another. Yeah, that's a bad. It is, and that is one of those things I see. I'm like, yeah, I'm one of those. I'm like, who are you? You're.
Do you ever feel sick? That's not hungover.
Not fine. You know, sometimes the sniffles. What do you?
Right.
Get the fuck in there. We got a job to do.
Okay.
We got people who need our funnies to put their brain on the show.
First responders, as you know.
This is on topic with what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I have a date tonight. Okay.
Great.
The date is a first date. Okay. And happy 420 to everyone. We're taping this on 420 for all you groovy pot smokers out there. Are you a pot smoker?
No. I mean, besides mood, which is
before bed.
Well, here's the thing. I told you when I had a bad experience when I had my braces on and I had edibles in that it brought out my lisp very intensely. So I was a little traumatized by that. But if I'll be into that if I'm like about to go to sleep or something. I don't like to do it in any sort of social situation, but something that will help like relax me before bed is the only real way I do it.
We're very much the same in that aspect. I'm not a big. I actually am done with it. I have no need to smoke weed in my life. Even though, and again, just because I say I don't smoke weed doesn't mean I don't think a person who smokes weed.
Right.
I don't think that.
Not your drug of choice.
I would have, a faux pas speaks to me more than having, smoking a joint. But I would have to think now that like pot is becoming more and more legal everywhere, state by state. Is that going to be like a first date thing? Would that be would you go on if someone was like, hey, I want to go to like a a smoke, like a, what do they have in Amsterdam?
Like a smoke shop?
A smoke
or
shop.
Like a cafe, one of those like.
Those are going to be out there soon.
I wouldn't go on a first date. But if it was like someone I'd been seeing, I would do that.
Right. Yeah, it'd be a fun date for like a year in. Hey, let's do this thing that we don't normally do.
Yeah.
But if you're two pot smokers, I would assume like that'd be like a fun first date. Like to me, it's a glass of wine up to a certain point.
Totally. And I think it's like all depends on like what drugs work for you.
Right. Yeah. So this first date is happening. And the reason I'm on the subject is we bring up the doctor stuff. And I think we set up a date like in the fall. And then I think I might have canceled. And then and then we had a date and I'm like, hey, you good for tonight? And they were like, I'm getting my wisdom teeth out. And I'm like, I kind of took wisdom teeth as like, that's a good way. To me, it was a great excuse to get out of a date. I think wisdom teeth might be the best excuse.
Okay.
Wisdom teeth removed because it's an appointment and then you're out of commission with good reason for at least a week and a half.
Have you had your wisdom teeth out?
A long time ago.
Okay, I haven't.
You haven't. No. So you have you get them out and it's a procedure. You get knocked out. So you're like, you got
a little
loopy. You're not going to go out that night. And then the rest of the week, you got these big puffy cheeks and it hurts. Okay. Like you have to it's got to come down a little bit. So you got to, if you say I'm having my wisdom teeth out, I was like, you know what? And my response then was, listen, let me know when you're ready.
Tell me when your teeth are perfect.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to be out with no chipmunk. So I go, yeah, listen, basically put the ball in their court.
Okay.
Down to go, let me know when things free up. And no text. Now it's, April.
This was when?
That was in the fall.
Okay.
Now it's April. Last week I get a text. Hey, I would love a rain check on that date.
You should be like, wow, that's swelling. Must have been. So, let me know who your dentist is. I'm not going to go there.
Right. Well, that's very funny you say that because that was my response.
Oh, that's funny. Look at that same brain.
Right.
We're doing too many of these episodes.
Right. We're not potheads and we just say
the same bad jokes.
That's right. Because I wrote, but I'm like, in my mind, to me, it's interesting because I'm like, and it's very much in the vein of this podcast where you're like, let's get the ball back in the air. Let's start, volleying some texts. And I was like, I was starting to get worried about your wisdom teeth removal. Like, as a joke.
Okay.
To me, that's like a rightful joke. Like, it's a little jab, but it's not like I'm mad. And I'm like, and I also wrote along with that down,
Right. So she knows you're joking and not just being like,
right. Would love to.
Passive aggressive.
Right. It wasn't like.
That's kind of the thing you need to, because you can't since you can't hear your tone.
Totally.
Right.
And I think I handled it in the way that would be normal.
Okay.
But then no acknowledgement of the teeth joke.
Okay.
And then we just went to like plan making.
Okay.
And now I go, well, I'll figure out a spot. Let's do Thursday, 6:30. I got shows starting at 8:30. And they're like, perfect. And now nothing in between. And there is a sense, and I know we get this question a lot of like, how much should you text before the date? And I do think like.
You've never met.
We've never met. Okay. We met through an app and then again, the cancellation, which was totally fine. It's okay. It happens. And then now this re-amp of like, hey, would love the rain check.
Okay. And she reached out. Right?
Of course, because that was kind of how I designed it, where I was like, listen, I'm not going to like.
Right, which is fair.
It seemed totally fair. And then made the joke, but there was no response to the joke. And then I'm like, and I'm trying to be like, how are you? How you been? Is everything good? I went back to our conversation to see kind of what we talked about. I was like, oh, how's that been? Reference something that came up.
It's the New York winter.
it did feel like a spring revival.
Okay.
In the same way the seasons change.
Sure.
So do you go back to your texts and like, whatever happened with that guy? I can understand that. But it is interesting, like before texting, you would just go on these dates at a 0. But I guess it's never really a 0. Like back in the day, maybe your parents were set up by a friend and the friend was like, they're great. There would be an amount of pump up, I think, that happened no matter text or no text. Don't you think?
To an extent, you might have a phone call or something. I don't know.
Right.
Did you want more banter?
I think I did. I think I'm sitting here going, I guess I'm going out with this person. Like, you have this like weird, because today I was like, I sent a text earlier today. Hey, are you still up for tonight? I'm thinking this place at 6:37.
And what'd she say?
No response.
Yet.
How
Okay. Well, how
Still.
long ago was this?
Hour ago.
Maybe that's good. Keeps you on your toes.
It definitely keeps me on my toes. I mean, I'm like.
Here's my opinion.
Sure.
Was when I was dating I was kind of like this girl. I wasn't really into that much
Right.
small talk texting leading up to a date because I'm kind of like, I don't really know you. We have this date set up. I'm gonna find out really quickly if we're compatible, like when we meet. And I don't know. I don't like know you well enough to like want to be like chatting throughout the day.
Right. And I felt that way too. Like, you know, in the conversation with myself where I'm like, hey, how you been? I was like, do I even write that? You know, like, do I even care? You know, and then I was like, I guess it's this like weird medium between do I care how you've been?
Right.
And I just want to know if this date is worth going on.
Right.
But I guess what level of texting would I cancel on this date?
That's the thing.
Right.
To me, it's
like
kind of
there's
like,
no.
If you're already, if you're not going to cancel, which I don't think you would.
No.
I don't imagine she'd say anything that was so terrible that you'd cancel. I'm kind of like, let's save our mental energy. And
Right.
just like, and maybe it's because I don't like texting that much,
Mhm.
but I was always of the opinion of like, let's just go see each other in person. We'll know like quickly. We don't need to we don't need to do this.
Right.
Yet.
You know, and then it's like, it's this weird scale. Again, the spectrum of things, because I'm like trying to think of where we're gonna go. I don't want to go to a place where it's sit down across from each other. Like I like based on that, I want to like stop into a coffee shop that has wine.
Right.
The wine coffee shop combo, great first date.
Where does that exist in the city?
There's a few of them.
Okay.
Love them. St. Jardine. Shout out.
Okay. I think I passed that.
It's a great first date spot to me because it's got like kind of just float in, float out, but it does get busy now. But I would say, what's it called?
Dante.
We give them a lot of shouts. What's the coffee place that's really nice and high end?
Oh, San Anselm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
That's a good one.
That's kind of like got the hybrid vibe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my buddy's classy, but like not too much. I don't know. So I was just like going into this thing and I'm going, who am I even going out? I guess this is as blind as a blind date could be in this day and age.
Right.
I guess that's the new blind date is no texting. Like
maybe, but I mean, you've seen a picture of her.
That's in the fall. Like I don't know what happens.
What kind of creature could she have turned into? Pale.
Winter hit her hard.
Yeah. I think I kind of like that. And honestly, I think it might be good for you.
Might be.
I think you get into maybe like too much texting.
Oh, absolutely. I'm responsive.
Yeah.
I will get back to you.
But I also think you kind of like a little bit of a like mystery.
You want a mystery. I guess the are we not texting because we have nothing to talk about? We never will, or is it the mystery?
I think it's like you don't care yet.
Right.
That's at least to me. It was like we're not texting yet because I don't care how your day was because I don't know you yet.
Right.
And like maybe after I meet you, I'll be more interested, or we have something that we connected on to talk about.
Right. I guess I've found that I have like to me in my past I've had better dates when I've had this like banter that I'm like that we've gotten out of the way the things that might be like we're continuing the conversation that happened over text.
Okay.
But I'm
have
going
you ever
with
had great banter, terrible date, or just like not into it when you just?
I have, but yeah, I've definitely had the banter didn't match up to the in-person experience.
Yeah,
which happens, I think, to everyone.
No, I agree.
But I just was thinking, wisdom teeth. What do you think the best excuse to get out of a date is?
You think it's wisdom teeth?
I think it's pretty good. It got rid of me.
Like, but
what would
forever?
I mean, wisdom teeth. You got four. You got four. You can.
I don't know.
Reference.
I'm trying to think. My go-tos would have been like illness, which you said you don't do.
I don't get sick.
Not feeling well. Ton of work to do.
But as far as believability, you know,
I guess.
Hey, I guess I always had I got asked to do a show.
Right.
That always worked for me because it's like another world.
Yeah,
what are you going to say to that?
Right.
It's my career, so to speak.
My mom's in town. I don't know.
Grammy came to town unannounced. It's like an episode of Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, I feel like illness is like your kind of like go-to. Can't argue that.
Hey, I'm not feeling great.
Yeah, let me.
And then that does give you the buffer of the wisdom teeth of a couple days at least. Right. Hey, the rest of the week was just barfing everywhere and shitting my pants, and you just keep going.
What's the most flattering cancel excuse?
I think wisdom teeth. Like I was willing to live in that world where there were actual teeth being taken out.
Well,
I'm definitely going to say the first thing out of my mouth. One? Of course. You got to answer that joke.
No, I'm saying, are you going to use that on future dates when you want to get out of that?
Oh, yeah.
Jared Free got his wisdom teeth out 6 times. So weird.
I got two, you know, if you think about it, you got 2 grandmas to use.
Yeah.
You got 2 grandpas as far as excuses.
Deaths. Okay.
You got grandma, grandpa, 4 wisdom teeth.
Aren't they all taken out at the same time?
Yeah, I think they leave a couple in there now.
I once used a juice cleanse as an excuse to get out of a date. That was pretty lame.
Hilarious. That tells the guy exactly what he's getting into as well. Hey, I'm doing a juice cleanse. I can't do it. It's like, you're one of those.
You're not juice worthy.
Right.
Should we jump right in?
Let's jump right in.
I'll read the first email.
Let's do it.
J&J, I'm 29. I've been seeing a 31-year-old guy for about 2 months now. Things have been going amazing, and we even have a getaway planned for this weekend and a big hiking trip next month. Ooh. We see each other frequently throughout the week and spend every weekend together. He's attentive, plans dates, and we've met each other's families. Sounds fast, I know, but doesn't feel that way. Doesn't sound that fast to me. I haven't felt the need to ask the daunting, what are we question, but a few nights ago, he said that he would like us to be an exclusive thing. We confirmed neither of us are talking to anyone else, so I asked what exactly he meant by that. And he said that he had no desire to date or hook up with anyone else and wants to know if we're on the same page. We are, so then I asked what's the difference between exclusive and a relationship. And he said it's simply the next step before making it official. I'm not in any hurry to put a title on this, but I keep wondering, is this actually a thing? I've been single for about 2 years, but I didn't think I was that far out of the dating game. I asked a few friends, and most said it's normal, but one did say it may be a way to get me to stop dating other people while he continues to figure out if I'm the one. So I figured I'd ask.
That friend's a real positive Polly.
I mean, I don't think that's an invalid
it's not
thought.
Invalid.
Yeah.
I think it comes from the most miserable friend.
Maybe. So I figured I'd ask the expert. Signed, exclusive, Batch.
I love this email. I think it's very relatable. What did you think?
I thought it was I kind of agreed with the cynical friend that it was a little weird that he wanted to be exclusive but not together. Or part of me was like, maybe he's saying that just to feel like he's not coming on too strong.
Right. I wrote down a couple things.
Because he brought it up.
It's funny that you stopped the email on the part that I like kind of picked out from it, and it sounds fast, but it doesn't feel that way.
Right.
That's how every relationship starts. They all, like all the good ones.
Right. Yeah, when it's on.
It's on, and it sounds, and you always have to apologize for it to someone. You know, it sounds fast, but no, this is like different.
Yeah.
That's every relationship.
That's a good relationship.
That's a good right. Yeah. That's like how it goes. Now, what's interesting to me is,
what is it, 2 months?
2 months. Okay. I think this makes sense at 31 and 29.
Exclusive, but not in a relationship?
I take away the label. I think they're too caught up on that. Like, I understand what they're asking. I think you and I were talking out of our ass for this podcast. We're giving our own opinions, and, you know, I think if you're asking questions, you're not going to get an answer. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about either.
Why doesn't he just say, like, you're my girlfriend?
I think that's insecurity. I think
that was what I was saying. Maybe he's just saying that so he doesn't feel like he's coming on so strong.
I think all stages are about insecurity. Like, you know, and it's not about the person. It's about everyone is personally motivated. It's not about we yet. Like, you're 2 months in, it's moving fast, but it feels right. Perfect. Great. You should go with that. That's amazing. Okay. I think the minute you go, well, what does this mean to you? The guy's like, I don't fucking know. What do you want me to say? It's and this kind of goes like there's a lot of times where as the guy, and I understand this is societal and I understand people want to feel chosen. You want that moment of you're the gal for me. It does. I think a lot of times you get put in this position of like, well, I'm the one leading the charge.
But he brought it up.
He brought up the I think he brought the I mean like he said he has no desire to date or hook up with anyone else and wants to know if we're on the same page.
Okay.
Like he's just saying that. Like I understand like this broader thing of like what does it all mean? And I understand his side of like I'm just not like his felt more reveal-y and hers feels like well now we have to have a talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but why can't they just have the talk? I think understand why he can't just be like, yeah, you're my girlfriend.
I think it's a lot of things of like, am I doing this too soon? Listen, how many comedy shows where I ask someone, a guy, especially a man, and I go, are you seeing anyone? And they're like, I'm just kind of like, maybe. And you're like, there's someone.
Right.
Based on that, I know there's someone.
Someone who has a clearer answer than you.
Right. Someone that would be offended by the way you're answering this question right now. And I just think it's like more than that. Like, I think this person would be like, I don't know. I understand why they're caught up on like, why can't you just say you're my girlfriend? And it's like, I don't know. I think it's like that becomes so vague.
I think there's a feeling of safety though in that.
Of course.
And that's why people like the labels.
Sure.
Because it feels like, okay, like, and especially because it's such a big part of your life and societally, it's such a thing. It's like, yeah, I want to know that I'm like in this and I have this label. It's like if you were being hired like freelance by someone and you'd be like, well, what do you care? Like you're getting paid and you have these hours and you're like, no, I want to be like an employee. I want like a job. I want to like feel like I have a job. And like that way, when I'm asked if I have a job, I have a job.
I guess, right.
That's not, and maybe that's stupid, but I also don't think it is. It's a feeling of security.
I guess the difference with the freelance, if we go in that metaphor, your job description is written on the page. And that's kind of the thing I think that gets this conversation so bogged down. Because when I hear like, if I start thinking about, like, if I know I'm doing freelance work and it's going to include this, and that, and I don't get health insurance.
Right.
I know exactly what that is. I know exactly what I have to live up to. When it's, what are we? I'm like, I guess I'm signing up for this vague thing that means I'm the bad guy when it all comes crashing down. Like,
why does it mean that?
This is how a lot of people think when they get asked, well, what's next? To me, it could just mean I'm not seeing anyone else. We're together and that's it.
This is moving forward.
This is moving forward.
Right.
Like I wrote
that's really, I think, all it can mean. All that it should mean. That's all you're promising.
But I think it never is said that way. I think it would be like on this subject of like when someone's like, well, what are we? And then you're left to your own devices of babbling on and on about what it is. I think it would be better served as a relationship means this to me. Like, I think I would feel more comfortable if someone said, like, this is what this next step means to me. Okay. That you are going to be a little bit responsible for what we're doing. And there's an ending if you're done with what we're doing.
Isn't that sort of obvious?
I think it's obvious, but it's also when it's unsaid. I think what people do is, I think it's only human to go 7 years in the future. I do that.
Okay.
What are we? We're just, hanging out and I'm not seeing anyone else and I'm not ready to get married and I don't want to move in yet. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure if I want to have kids. Like, I think guys go into that scared mode of, where to you it's of course.
Well, but to me, it just kind of seems like one of the hallmarks of maturity is being able to commit to things, right? Like to be able to like commit to something and then if it doesn't work out to be able to pivot, but to be able to go all in on something that you're into.
Right.
Doesn't mean forever or you have to promise that. But to me, if someone's like, yeah, we're going to do this exclusive thing and then we'll see if that changes to commitment, I would be like, bless you. Bless you.
Thanks.
I would be like a little turned off by it because I'd be like, you're 31 years old. Like it's 31? Yeah, I'd be like, you're 31 years old. Like, we don't have to do this like half relationship. Like, it feels childish. Like,
Right.
are we together, or we're like, you're saying we're in a half relationship? Like, we're too old for that.
I know, and I agree with you, and I think this conversation always gets into vague as instead of specific, and I think men especially would feel more comfortable with the specific. Like, if she was like, okay, I'm with you, I'm not seeing other people, I'm going to start introducing you as my boyfriend. That to me means you're going to answer my texts, and if you stop answering, I'm going to ask you to what's going on, and there's going to be a breakup. Like, even in those terms, I'm like, oh, that's it. Like, I don't think it's a matter of him being like, well, I got to fuck a bunch of women before we get to this whole, name at the top of the contract. I'm trying to say I guess what I'm trying to say, like, I do agree that, like, I think a lot of guys get ahead of themselves way too much. And I mean, how many people say to us, I'm not trying to get married? Well, they are thinking that way. They go straight to marriage. They go straight to, oh, fuck, the next step's coming.
Yeah.
And it does feel beyond your control a little bit. Like,
in terms of like someone has to end it if it's not going well.
Right. But I even the bus of a relationship, like the next stop's coming. It's always coming. And, they said they're going on vacation. They're meeting the families. I think that's great. He's signed up for all those things.
Right, he's already doing it.
That's the thing. That's why I'm like,
That's why I'm like, why are you so scared?
Right. And I connect with it in that sense because it's like, I've been that guy going to meet families and going on the vacations being like, yeah, I'm doing this is of course.
Right.
Why wouldn't I? While also being like this, what does this mean for the grander macro version of this?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I agree with the confusion of like, what is this? One doesn't connect to the other. And it's like, it is weird that he's doing all the things that mean a relationship.
Yeah, he wants it to be easier to leave. Like, is that?
I don't even think it's a leaving thing as much as it's an admission that this part of life is over. Right. Like, I mean, I've said this on the podcast, like, you move to the back seat, as a guy. I think a lot of guys see this like, when you speak to married men aren't jazzed up about marriage. They're not talking to you.
I don't think they're jazzed up to like you, their single friend.
You don't hear that. I just don't publicly hear. Again, that's all that matters.
I also think that men are more comfortable complaining than talking about, like, if you had a friend and you had dinner with them and they're like, yeah, marriage is like incredible. Like, I'm married to my best friend and it's just great to not have to be out there anymore. And I love like, the security that comes with that and someone I trust and doing it. Like, no one's going to say that to you.
No.
Or less likely to say that to you.
But I guess women don't say that to each other either as much as they say we're like, I would assume the conversations are more like, so we're doing this week and we have this great dinner plan set up for this. Like, that's more real. You know what I mean? Like, that is positive, but it's not like braggy.
Right.
Where like, Greg and I are doing this and then Greg and I are going to this and we're going to see, my in-laws and we, those are stories that I guess I don't hear, that just the simplified
what are you
things.
Hearing? Let's hear what you're hearing.
I
not naming names.
You really don't hear much.
But I'm saying, why is not hearing much mean it's bad?
I guess you get no edible versions.
Like positives
of the just the regular. Okay. You don't get a lot of that. You do hear back like, we went to dinner and we hung out with that guy and whatever. But it's never like realistic. Do you know what I mean? There's you're at the wedding.
Like, what are you afraid of losing?
I don't know. I think what you're afraid of.
What is one afraid of losing?
I think it's a growing up factor. You're growing up.
Well, to me, that seems that makes the most sense to me because, again, I feel like the lack of going all in feels like an immature thing.
Right.
It's like I won't go all in because I'm scared.
Yes.
And I think the scared thing is like the maturity thing, is like the growing up thing. It's like, yeah, like growing up is scary. Change is scary. But it's like, that's why I think it's a turnoff, because it's like, oh, you can't just face your fear. Like it's part of like, again, being a man. I don't want to like call it what, like, it just does feel like, okay, like I'm going to commit to something.
Right. I think, it's.
If it's good, obviously, not just anything, but.
I think these insecure, and again, this is back to insecurities, just generally, like in growing up and going to the next step. Am I secure enough in my job? Am I secure enough in my, that I've done the things I want to do as a single person alone? Have I done the things that I want to do on my own? And this is a change of lifestyle into a different type of life.
Right.
And it's a lot. And listen, I think like these insecurities for men are kind of glazed over, even by like a lot of women out there. They go, well, that's stupid. Because what women want is generally morally more correct. I want to be in love and have a family and be together and be this wonderful Hallmark card. Right. And no one would say, well, who the fuck wants that?
Well, what do men want?
I think they want that, but I think that a lot of times they don't realize how simple it is to do that. Like, I think they think it's a bigger thing than it is. Like, I think this is, and I'm sorry I'm a little rambly and like, I am answering for a big group, but I do think these are very relatable insecurities that a lot of guys have that you might be dealing with. Because, again, this specific situation is so relatable, but also like, it's not the guy that won't go meet your friends. It's not the guy that won't go on the vacation.
Right.
Everything feels normal. We're doing the relationship. He
just won't call it what it is.
He just won't call it what it is. And what is the thing that's blocking that? Now, there's some people out there, well, he should go to therapy. Like there's a lot of things like yelled at guys these days. And I'm not saying we're off the hook. I'm just saying that in this time of mental health and unpack that, there's a lot of like, come on, just move along. Stop being such an asshole fuckboy and say you're in a relationship. It can only be because you want to fuck a bunch of chicks. And it's like, it's not that. Well, it's more than that.
Even if it's not that, though, it's still something I think that can be rectified with like a deeper introspection into why you do the things you do. One does the things they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would also say that like a lot of the women that you deal with are way more practiced on that via the conversations they have with friends and family.
Right.
And then you might be dealing with a guy who's never talked with his friends about what marriage means and never talked about what he's looking for in life and how many kids he wants to have.
Well, that's the biological unfairness of it all, is that we're sort of like unable to fuck around for that long.
Right. But again, the unfairness is the weather. Like I'm saying, this is the type of cat you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And so when he says like, that's why I was like, the friend sounds miserable, because like, I'm like, she's like, well, he's probably out there fucking around. Well, it's an option.
Right.
It's an option. I agree. He might be out there. He might be holding you with his left while he's fingering another chick with his right. I get it.
But he's saying it's more like, oh, he has this fear of committing with putting this label on it. What is that fear? That he finds someone better. Otherwise, if you were excited about something, you'd put in the offer.
Well,
a little bit.
That's a part of it,
right?
I think on the pie of things.
If you were like, oh, I can't believe I found one that's like amazing. Like, let me lock it in.
Right. Yeah, that's in a perfect world. That I think that's like a little binary.
I agree, it's binary. But I think that there's some element of that when someone commits or when someone's like excited to commit. Right. It's like, oh wow, like this. I don't come across this all the time, and I'm excited to do this because I feel like this is special.
I agree with that. I also understand that this other thing of, am I ready for these next phases of life, are a hurdle to get over.
I get that too, but she's not asking him to marry her.
I know. Well, right. I think, if you're...
That'll come in 6 months.
Right. I think if you're in this position and someone's like, hey... I think there will be, here's my advice. And I agree with you. I also agree with someone could feel that way. Oh, you're waiting for better to come along. That is a normal feeling to the response of let's just be exclusive but not in a relationship. And I do agree that in a lot of cases, exclusive but not in a relationship means they're going to break up with you. I think that's also them pre-breaking up with you. In this case, it seems different to me. Right. I'm making some assumptions. But I would say if you're talking to someone, you're like, and I would speak in I terms. I'm teaching you how to make it easy for the guy you're with, where maybe you're dealing with this. I'm off the apps. I'm exclusive with you. Act as if, and then they're like, well, and then what does that mean to you? Well, I guess that means we're exclusive. Is that in a relationship? I'm going to start calling you my boyfriend. Well, that might be too soon for me. I think we should be exclusive, but not in a relationship yet. And then I would say, what does a relationship mean to you?
Yeah.
Get him talking. Because you might find if he says, now you might find out his insecurities. Well, he'll bring up job, maybe. He'll bring up, he doesn't know what, all these things that you're going to get into the bottom of it, I think, more than not.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting conversation.
Right. I mean, as a guy at this age where I do agree with you that I think I've ridden all the rides at the amusement park. That's not a real great metaphor.
We'll go with it.
We'll go with it. Apologies for how that sounds. Right. It's not how I mean it, but I do think I do have this dream of there it is. Boom.
Here she is.
Here she is.
I know immediately.
Of course. Knew immediately. You do have that dream.
Yeah.
And I hope it's that case. I hope I'm not the guy going, well, let's just be in the exclusive. I hope I'm ending things before that.
Well, I also think that there's people, I think that we think it's all one size fits all and everyone has to feel the same way immediately. So I think that's a good point. I think you can go in feeling like this feels good and you're excited about it, but not knowing immediately everything. You don't have to know right away.
Right. You don't have to know. And I think there's a lot of guys that I think they definitely get ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
I didn't say I want to be married. It's that's
get over it. See a therapist.
Let's do some awkward sex. You fucking idiot.
No.
UUP@betches.com.
I think that just to one more time on that. I just think that when you say see a therapist, that means, and I could see why men would think that's overused and thrown at them. It's what that really means is think critically about what you're doing.
Right. I guess that's why I'm saying ask better questions.
Right.
Again, and that's us volleying back and forth things other sides of the coin can do, other sides of the relationship can do. But I, to the guy out there, yeah, maybe he does need to see therapy, but also to the woman out there who's like, do you want to be my boyfriend? And he gets weird. There's a lot of other, maybe what does a girlfriend mean to you?
Right.
Would help that conversation.
But it also doesn't feel great to be convincing someone into
of course.
Okay, well, you think it's this and it's actually going to be this. So now is it okay? It doesn't feel as good.
Right.
That someone who feels like they're excited to be yeah, of course, I thought we already were, let's do this. It just feels better that way. It feels more exciting. And
right.
I get that it's not every guy, sometimes it's not about you or about the thing, it's about them and their own thing, but that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit of turn off.
I get the turn off aspect. That's why I'm always just say, I'm calling you my boyfriend.
Yeah.
I think that is a more fun way to go.
Yeah. Until proven wrong by my boyfriend. Yeah.
Right. You'll be, you're either going to be disappointed or you'll be right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if, to me, that's confidence and hot.
I just think when I've gone into situationships or situations being why don't we just date? It's not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be fine. And then that's when you get the a week, 3 weeks later, you go, I can't do this. I'm too anxious. I'm too whatever. It's kind of well, that wasn't fun. Or even with the Julia situation that we had a few weeks ago. It's if you're standing in front of someone being we could just date. It's not you're overthinking this. It's just going to be fun. We're going to date. And then it just never seems to work because it does feel like there's a sense of someone won't do it because of a hesitancy that they have that this isn't that it.
Right. To go back to that situation, I guess, in Julia's case, she did do I'm there. Let's
just
do
try
this.
It.
And
right.
She had to walk away from, leave the guy behind who's Maybe therapy's in your future. Like
indecisive is like sort of that thing of like, I don't want to have to like sit here and convince you
right
to be in a like that doesn't feel good for me.
Oh, I totally understand. Yeah. Right. I understand that. It sucks to walk away from someone that you're like, it's all here. What the fuck?
Right. But then you're like, okay, is it what's here or is it you and your own issues around this topic that you can't get over?
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's do some awkward sex.
Let's do it.
Hi, J&J. I, a 40-year-old female, went on a date with a 35-year-old male. Afterwards, he said he wasn't ready for a new relationship after ending a long-term relationship just 6 months ago. So I suggested we try the friends with benefits route. We had a good time, vibed, were attracted to each other, and had fun talking with each other. He told me he wasn't as experienced as I was, so I figured I could teach him a thing or two. This sounds great.
All going well.
He came over one night and said he assumed he was staying the night since he lived far away and we'd be drinking. I was fine with that. He was definitely a little odd, and we were we were very different, but I said to myself, I need to be more open-minded. I was wrong. He brought a small leather satchel with him, which was a little weird, as most guys would either not spend the night or just sleep in their boxers.
I think that's fine.
Really?
He brought like some things.
Like a tote?
It's a satchel.
It's
not a... What is I'm going to judge the bag that he's brought? It's not like he brought in a purse.
An overnight bag from a guy is a little weird. I would be taken aback, but I get it. Okay.
But maybe a backpack. What if he brought a backpack with some shit in it?
A man with a backpack on a date, not a good look.
All right.
After we had sex, I went to the bathroom, and when I came out, he was standing in my living room wearing a white robe. Okay. I also included the picture so you could see it for yourselves. It looked more like a nightgown. I was shocked and burst out laughing.
Then she sends the picture. The picture is fucking weird.
Are we going to post the picture?
We have to post the picture. It doesn't have his face in it. But even the stance he's making, he looks just like Jesus.
It's very Jesus-like. It is the most insane... It looks like he's in a cult.
This is crazy. Yeah. It's like, well, I didn't know they made garments like this for men.
It is what the nosy neighbor in a 70s sitcom wears while looking out the window at what's going on next door. It's Mrs. Kravitz. This is crazy.
This is insane. Yeah.
It has like a V-neck to it.
It looks like it has pocket and like a mesh.
I thought that was his underwear, but I guess you're right. That does look like a pocket.
Like a pocket around the stomach.
That would be like on a hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah. Like it looks like a hooded sweatshirt with extra long hooded sweatshirt. All down to the ground.
Right. It looks like what Grandpa Joe was wearing.
Yes, that's a good
in Willy Wonka.
Yes.
Right. It is Grandpa Joe's wedding gown. It is what old people wear to bed.
It's crazy. There's no
packing a bag and going, "Oh, I need my PJs," and then your PJs is a nightgown. Is insanity.
That's where it gets crazy. I would have been able to get over the satchel thing.
I agree with you.
I mean, he has things, you know.
He's got a toothbrush.
He's got an overnight
toothbrush guy.
Yeah.
So she writes, who brings pajamas with them to stay the night for the first time in a girl's apartment, let alone a nightgown? The man looked like Jesus was resurrected and standing in my living room. Ironically enough, Easter was a few days later. He is wearing this in one of his profile pictures. So that's crazy too.
That's also weird.
But I thought he was dressed as Jesus for Halloween.
That's what I would have thought too.
Right. Especially to be on your profile.
Yeah.
So I never thought anything of it. I literally said to him, "Are you wearing a nightgown?" He said, "No, it's a robe and it's so comfortable." "You saw it in my profile and liked it." I said, "No, that's a nightgown that a woman would wear. And I thought it was a Halloween costume and you were dressed as Jesus." This is... It's weird. Almost so crazy that you're like, am I being fucked with? He said, "Well, now I'm self-conscious." That's hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
Response. And took it off. Shockingly enough, this did not give me the ick, and we had sex again.
Okay.
Wow.
It worked for him.
We laughed about it that night, and a few days later we were texting, and I jokingly made fun of his robe, which we went along with until I clearly offended him and he completely overreacted and acted like a child. I included our text, and I am dying to know your take on it. I can admit that I maybe took it too far and should have maybe backed up on picked up on his tone, but the man-child's reaction was completely unjustified. Thanks, Jesus, take the joke. We don't have the text.
We do have
Oh,
the
we
text.
do. I guess
sorry. We can. There's many of them. I think we can.
Oh my God!
You know what?
Let's
There's
go through
pictures.
it.
Let's just
there's
do
pictures.
It. Okay.
Looks
I'll
like
be here.
Ebenezer Scrooge is involved.
Is that Brendan Fraser? Okay, ready?
Your boy. Your boy Brendan.
I'm not sure. Okay. Someone's feeling sassy tonight. Are you wearing your nightgown?
I kind of like her
She's coming
style.
hot.
Yeah, she came in hot.
Okay.
And then he sent back a picture of
I don't even know what that is.
a
shirtless
you know what
man
it
in a
is?
cape
It's from Pulp Fiction. Is
it?
that's the guy who puts the lotion on the body.
No, that's like
Do you know?
that's Silence of the Lambs.
Is that Silence of the Lambs?
Puts the lotion on its body.
Right?
Yeah. Not Pulp Fiction.
Why did I think it was Pulp?
I don't know what
What's the Pulp Fiction one where he's in the hole in the ground?
That's Silence of the Lambs.
That's Silence of the Lambs?
That's Silence of the Lambs.
Why did I think there was this whole weird part? And am I going out of my mind? Yeah, that's Buffalo Bill,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a weird response when someone's like, "You wearing your nightgown?" Then you send the picture back of the
He's trying to be funny too. He's not. It's not
of the
he's not as
creepy
funny
guy
as her.
who,
I don't think that's him.
is that who? I thought that was who it was.
I don't know.
All right, whatever.
Anyway, his reference isn't landing.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill.
Okay, but it could be a different Buffalo Bill, right? Is that the dude from Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah, well, we had this whole discussion. This is what
You
they
said it was Pulp Fiction.
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm wrong.
You had more of a Scrooge/Jesus vibe going. At least you didn't murder me and try to wear my skin.
Scrooge, you're not fat enough.
Weird response. Also.
Well, that was the Buffalo Bill thing that he liked bigger women
Oh, okay.
to wear their skin. But she did ha-ha it.
She did haha. Yes, A Christmas Carol.
You wouldn't have made a good skin dress.
This
Oh,
is
he's still
getting
in
weird.
skin dress
Okay.
town. Oy.
Then she laughs at that and then sends a picture of Scrooge, which actually looks also a lot like the nightgown.
Way more than Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
Hating on my excellent style.
Haha. Just that one.
It's so comfortable. See, this is the thing.
You got it right.
You lost. It's
He's-
so comfortable is not enough for you've made. It can't be more
You
comfortable
have to
than it is.
own that this is weird or there's
Right.
something wrong with you. Everything else I like. Wear it in the comfort of your own home alone, not when you're with a woman.
He wrote K.
Ooh, it's starting to
Hey.
get sassy.
Capital K.
Did you buy it as part of a costume? Or said this looks super comfortable. I'm going to sleep in it.
No, I just thought it would be funny to have a Jesus robe. And I got it on Amazon. It was a random thing.
Ah, gotcha. And then you realized how comfortable it is.
I didn't realize how much I would like it.
Fair enough. Can I say I think it's funny you brought that to sleep at a girl's apartment for the first time? Haha.
You realize it's a unisex church robe, right? This isn't that weird.
To sleep in? It's a little weird.
To say it's a unisex church
This guy
robe and
is
then go,
like-
it's not that weird, is like the craziest thing I've ever
This guy
heard.
seems like a much crazier than he was when just wear. It would be funny if he was like wearing it and then he was like, I got it as a joke on Amazon. I actually think it's really comfortable. Obviously, it looks insane.
Right.
Like, that's one thing. This guy is defending this way too much.
Way too much. Okay, so this isn't that weird. On
To
number
sleep
6.
in, it's a little weird.
Thanks.
I mean, it didn't turn me off.
Probably because they never tried a robe like that. Game over.
Haha, you should tell him.
Don't know what you're missing.
Maybe I should order one. We can wear them together, lol.
Have a great night.
Did I hit a Did I hit a nerve? I'm just teasing. Okay, sorry. Have a good night.
You're just not funny. Ooh.
Okay. I actually think she's way funnier than him.
I totally agree.
Okay.
Anyway, have a good night. I'll text you sometime.
What? I'm confused. Okay. So that was clearly they're not a match.
No, this ain't the match. What do we think of this?
I mean, this is
there
absurd.
more here?
Again, I wouldn't care about I mean, I think the robe would be very weird. It would definitely be a red flag, but if he was saying it was a complete joke, I think it would be one thing. Or if he was not trying to defend it so much.
No, if this is seriously what you wear to bed, it's weird.
It's weird, yeah. But you have to call it weird. You can still do it.
If it, yeah, listen, if you go, I guess comfort has to be a secondary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's comfortable, has to be the response to, I know it's right.
I know
You're
it's
right.
weird. Yeah. There's no self-awareness here that this is a weird thing.
Right. You can't start at comfort.
Especially if you're going to wear this to a girl's house, you have to know that this isn't normal.
It
You're
is
not even starting with
out
that.
of control. What does Mike wear to bed?
Boxers. I got him nice pajamas for
I remember
Valentine's
this.
Day, so sometimes he'll wear those.
Right.
Pajamas. I don't know.
Pajamas. I said pajamas. Pajamas. Mario.
PJs.
It's a Long Island thing. Yeah. I was trying to write down what is the acceptable? What do I wear?
Yeah.
Well, I put on a matching silk set with a little stocking cap and
Just
a
like
pom pom.
Scrooge?
I'm Scrooge.
Okay.
No, I wear mesh shorts to bed,
Oh, that
but
sounds comfy.
specifically made to be like. There has been a whole world of lounge shorts that are now existing that I am very happy exist.
Okay.
So Chubby's, I'll go to Plug City.
Plug City.
Chubby's makes a mesh short that's like a 5-incher.
And you wear that to bed.
That's what I wear. I have 2 pairs. I switch them, rotate, love them. Sometimes a woman will sleep over and you give them one of your shirts, and that's always nice but weird because you're snuggling with your own scent. Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes women wear the matching set, like the shorts with the shirt that's silky. Love that. Into it.
Nice.
That's
because they haven't gotten to the level with you where they're wearing their ratty old bachelorette tops.
I've been there. I've seen that world too. Sometimes the ratty old bachelorette tops move into blanket from growing up land where it's like enough with this.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of women hold
There's
on.
a line of comfort that I think you need to acknowledge is unacceptable.
Right. Chelsea on Love is Blind had a blankie that she kept that even watching on TV made me gag. It was disgusting.
No.
It legit was like, and then she would tuck it under the bed. I was like, you just put a used paper towel under the bed at that point.
If it's starting to disintegrate, it's got to go.
What if a man wore a big T-shirt with nothing else underneath? Would you be okay?
I don't
with
like that.
Going Winnie the Pooh.
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
It's just weird.
It's not a good look on a man.
Yeah.
T-shirt, nothing else.
Cover
Not a
the
good
penis for bed.
look. Did you have a name for this?
Maddie's name was great. He is risen. It's the perfect name.
It's great.
Thou shalt not judge. Jesus freak in the sheets.
Love
also
it.
great.
I had night frown. Gowning and pussy.
That's perfect. That's the winner.
Dude sleep like a lady.
That's these are all very good.
Listen, I've been
You're on a
preparing a
roll.
lot
You're on a
lately. I
roll.
have all these notes. I
Unlike
gotta
some
use
people,
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are
PJ
very
problems. Yeah. No. Gowning and pussy.
Gowning and pussy is great.
Let's do another email.
Okay. I will read it. Hi there. I've been debating asking this question, but after listening to a recent episode of Oversharing with a similar question/topic, I decided to write in. I'm a 33-year-old female, lived all over the country in major cities, and recently moved back to my hometown of Pittsburgh. Overall, I've really enjoyed dating, but not totally sold on the idea of marriage or a long-term partner. But I do know I want to be a mom. I'm in the process of freezing my eggs and will be exploring the option to become a mom on my own later this year. I'd love the male perspective on dating someone who has a kid on their own. No baby dad drama is a good thing, right? LOL.
Yeah. I agree with them. No
Yeah.
baby dad drama. That's great.
So if you went on a date with someone and they were like, I've frozen my eggs and, I'm dating, and if it works out, that's great. But if not, I'm probably going to have a kid on my own later this year.
I think the hard thing to say here is that every life decision you make shrinks your pool.
Sure.
Every life decision.
Buying a house.
Shrinks your pool.
Okay.
I'm going to move home with my mom and dad. Shrink your pool. I'm going to move to Hoboken.
Right. I'm
Shrink
divorced.
your pool. I'm divorced. Shrink your pool, but not as much. Again, these are all different levels of things.
I have kids. Shrinks your pool.
I have a dating podcast where I discuss my dating life on a daily basis. Shrinks my pool. I'm a comedian. Shrinks my pool. I'm 5'8.5". Shrinks my pool.
Sure.
You know,
it's
like
not a life decision, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right. You're right. I just like, to me, I'm like, I see this. I'm like, there's always there's the dream of like, if we connect so much, but the longer I go without that connection, the more I go, yeah, I probably wouldn't date someone if they were like, I'm having the kid with or without you type of thing.
Yeah.
Again, the numbers go down.
But that's fine.
I'm making it mathematical because it's not personal. It's truly not personal.
Right. But I also think that that's totally fine.
Right.
And expected. And like, there's going to be maybe like eight out of every 10 guys who are like, not for me.
Right.
But then 2 out of the 10 either won't care or might even be into it.
Right. I want to have kids more than I care about the people that don't want me to have kids.
Yeah.
That's really the math you're doing. Like, I wanted to become a comedian more than I cared about someone going, I don't want to date someone who goes on stage and thinks they're funny.
Sure. Or isn't around during more than you cared about having to deal with that.
Right. So it is funny that this email gets written and it's like, well, will me being who I am turn people off? Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But that's a good thing. I mean, but also, like, there are many people who won't care or be in. Look at Rebel Wilson.
Right.
She had a baby via surrogate and met her fiance simultaneously.
Right.
And she told her, and I'm sure she was very scared of her saying, I'm not really interested in that, but she didn't care. So it's like, for the right person who's the right match for you, maybe it'll make it a little harder to find them potentially, or maybe not harder to find them because the whole time this is what you wanted, so you're going to find them faster. You're going to find out faster,
right? And you can't live in like dream world. Like a lot of times, when I notice it, ever since work from home became more a thing, everyone's like, I'd move to Cincinnati. Like you. Like, I mean,
you can. Yeah.
But the idea that like this idea, you used to have the easy out, make out in Cincinnati and be like, I work from home. I could make this work. And you go, well, that's a lot. That's I guess.
Well, I think it's nice. You're open to things.
Right. I think more people are closed off to things that you are open to.
Right.
When it's your thing. So when you go, yeah, well, they don't have a kid yet. They've never been married. They say they want a kid. I think there's romanticism and cynicism again on both sides of this aisle. And then
But I also think it's hot to know what you want and go after it no matter what. No, you're not waiting for you're not waiting for a certain thing to make the life you want.
No, but that's my thing is like you keep driving your bus. You want kids? Fuck yeah, go for it. This is great. But I would practice honesty and realism.
Yeah,
with that.
Many people will not be interested in that.
Right,
but that's okay. Because you want it more than you're interested in pleasing many people or being dateable to many people.
Right. Totally agree.
Right. Which I get. It's probably like it feels insulting, but I don't think it is.
No, it's not insulting. Again, we live in a world where if I say I don't want kids, that is somehow taken in as you think everyone who had kids is a fucking idiot. That's like kind of the world today. Or
in this case, to make it more realistic to her thing, it's like I think the more realistic thing is she'll go on a date with a guy who might want kids with her or with anyone, doesn't really like the idea of, having to be rushed into this thing within a year, or feels it's too much pressure, and then opts out.
Right.
Right? Which is fine.
Right, but I guess what she's fighting against, she wants to be right. She's asking us what a guy will think. The hard truth is a guy might think, you might hear him running away. You might hear, woo, woo, he sprints away. It's just the reality. Yeah. But
in the same way as you saying, I'd like to be married within the next year and a half.
Right.
I don't think that's crazy to say either.
No, I don't either. I'm with you.
And then the person who's like terrified of that will leave faster.
Absolutely.
So anyway, anything that gets someone to leave faster who's going to leave anyway is kind of nice.
Normalize being happy someone left.
Yes. Right? Quickly.
Quickly, yes.
Being happy someone left quickly.
And politely.
Yes. Politely and quickly.
I bid you and your future baby adieu.
All right, let's play Faux Pas or Nah.
Faux Pas or Nah. Ready to play some games?
I'm ready.
Let's get into Faux Pas or Not, presented by Faux Pas Can Cocktails. Every single Faux Pas can is based on a tried and true cocktail. Vodka soda, marg, tequila soda, and mule. You can't go wrong. And it goes without saying on this show that we're into keeping it real, which is why there's only real vodka or real Blanco tequila and no artificial flavors or gluten in these drinks. Now let's keep it real with some Faux Pas or Not. And remember, Faux Pas is like, you made an oopsie.
Yes, but it's okay, as we all do. Faux pas is a natural part of life. Nah is too big of a thing. We're out.
Right. Just like drinking a faux pas.
Exactly. Delish.
I got the Bartlett Pear Vodka Mule in front of me.
I've got the vodka soda. It's like a fresco with a kick, like we say.
I love the vodka soda. Just crushing them.
All right, you want to read the first one?
I'll read the first. Should I bring some? I can't bring them to Boca, Ken. I'm going to Boca tomorrow.
Not unless you're checking a bag.
Fuck. Damn it. I would have been chugging these.
I think they have some in Florida. Maybe
I'll
ship your mom some.
I mean, she loves free shit.
How many followers does she have?
People respond to her stories on my page. A lot of engagement.
I got to follow her. Okay.
Okay. If you follow her, my mom, how's Jordana? I don't know why she says your name that way.
Some people say it like that.
Really?
Usually they're not Jewish, though.
Right.
Usually non-Jews are Jordana.
Yeah. No, but she's from, maybe because she's from the Midwest.
I like when people say it like that. It makes me feel like I'm like more exotic. Like,
really?
Like I think it sounds sometimes it sounds Italian.
Jordana. Yeah, it does.
Right?
Like, yeah. Very
like
Mediterranean.
Like Madonna.
Jordana.
Yeah.
She says it. How's Jordana? She always asks about
I need to get down to Boca.
Right. Listen, she has a bed made.
I'll be there.
She's the biggest Jordana fan that I know. Okay. You want me to read the first one?
I'm ready.
He keeps the condom after sex. Senior year of college, I had a Netflix and chill night with this guy I'd talked to for a couple months while I was house sitting it for my parents. He noticed the family cat and said he was extremely allergic, but despite his eyes getting a little puffy and sneezing a lot, we hooked up. After he said he had to go because his allergies are too bad. I understand. Walk him out and kiss him goodbye, but 10 minutes later, he texted me from the door saying he forgot something. He rushed past me, went upstairs, and rummaged through the trash before bolting out the door. No goodbye this time. I checked the trash, and all that was gone was the condom. I also want to point out that he was my age, not rich, nor famous, so no reason I would try to inseminate myself.
I love every time we get something like this.
It's so funny.
It's just so funny, the ego of men.
That's exactly what I wrote.
Oh, she wants your fucking like theta sperm making no money.
But I'm pre-med. I mean, it just shows you how much the lack of control really fucks with a guy's fucking head where he's like, of course, and his mom telling him he looks good in a suit and
yeah, I would have fucked with him. I would have texted him being like, "I hope you don't mind. Before you grab the condom, I just saved a little bit, and then I put it at the edge of a tampon just to see what would happen if I put it in."
Yeah, just send.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see. I've been doing, I'm in this interesting chemistry class. I just thought it would be a fun experiment.
But is that how women get pregnant? Can it happen that way? Doesn't it have to? But listen. I'm closer to this guy than I want to admit.
I just want to know what the thoughts racing through his head were in the 10 minutes that he spent after he left before he went back. Like, what were the recurring intrusive thoughts that were happening in his head?
It was, I'm not sure if the condom worked. Is the cum in there? I think it's more that he
to see that it was
in there
instead of inside of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he wanted to see the load.
Not to like make sure she didn't get her hands on the sperm.
Right. I don't think he thinks that she's like a molecular biologist in her free time.
Right.
Or whatever fucking doctor would inseminate. I don't know. I think it's more, I need to see. This is in the vein of men are fixers. Like we need I got to see the cum in the bag to know it didn't go in to the human bag.
Right. And I guess you couldn't text someone that.
Hey.
It'd be easier just to go back and get it yourself.
Hey, Jordana, I'm just wondering, is there cum in the condom?
I'm not sure which is weirder. I guess it would be a nah for me.
It's a nah for you?
Yeah, he didn't even say goodbye.
He could have made it a joke, like, hey, I'm so fucking
show a little vulnerability
stressed about it. I'm a stupid idiot. I mean, I've done that in my life where I'm like, like I'll do the "Are you on the pill?"
That's fine.
And I'll go, listen,
I
may have asked last night, but I have another question. Did you know? To me, yeah, you if this person can't even like figure out their way socially to get through this, it's a nah for me. I'm trying to think of the female version. She goes and runs back and takes the condom with the she goes, I want to bring it home with me as a souvenir.
She tries to take your condom.
Take my condom home with her.
Also out.
Nah. There is nothing good about rummaging the condom out of the garbage for any reason. There's no reason.
No, it's a no. Have a little class. Okay.
And pay for the baby.
That too. You know. All right. They track you down on another platform after you ghost on the apps. Hi, J&J, longtime listener, live show attendee, episode share, first-time writer. I work for a large bank in a smaller city. It's the largest employer in the area, so it's common to come across other employees on the apps. And I wasn't surprised when I matched with and started talking to someone who works in another department.
What up, Charlotte, Bank of America?
Is that what it is?
That's my assumption. Okay. I don't know. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Could be.
Probably is.
Could be. We talked for 3 weeks on the app. Yikes. Hybrid work schedules, weekends out of town, and spring break. He is a part-time single dad of 2. Have made it so we haven't gotten a chance to schedule a first date. Adding dating fatigue to that, I deleted the app, leaving him ghosted. It's now 3 days later, and he managed to find me on the internal chat system. I was a bit taken back for 3 reasons. We never moved the conversation past the app, and there was no solid effort to meet up on either side. We had not exchanged last names. I have a common first name. Prior to deleting the app, we had not talked for 2 days. To me, this is the equivalent of DMing someone that you met on the apps, only worse because it's a professional chat platform that is monitored. Is this a faux pas or not? Sincerely, a ghosting bitch. Busted.
I think this is it's a faux pas to go and you've lost contact with someone. Hey,
you had second thoughts. You kind of wanted to actually make the date happen.
Right. The way he found her, she's like, I have a common first name. I have, you can find people.
We all stalk people.
Right.
Okay?
Like that's a little, she's making that more weird than it really is.
Right.
We never move. I think the biggest thing that makes this into nah territory, it's faux pas to you drifted off the apps, you come back and you go, hey, I found you, hat in hand. I'm sorry.
Sure.
The nah comes in for me when they don't make the date.
Well, did he make the date when he messaged her on the other thing?
I don't know. But I'm saying if you're talking for 3 weeks and it's this excuse, that excuse, this excuse.
Mm-hmm. Then why go out of his way to find her on the internal chat system?
I'm wondering if he's just really, honestly, so many times when people are like, oh, they're looking for a pen pal. Sometimes maybe this guy is addicted to just getting texted.
Right.
And he found someone who would respond to him. And there's a point where you go, even if you can't do the next week, hey, in 2 weeks, I would like to get together. Let's exchange numbers. Someone has to take a chance, and he never did. So I don't know if he ever will.
What I think is if he came back on the internal chat system and tried to make a date from there, and that was he came back, acknowledged it was weird, potentially a little intrusive, and then said, if not interested, obviously, I'm not going to talk to you again on this thing, which is a little bit of a... I could see crossing a line while explaining yourself and then bowing out immediately if the other person said no.
I'm with you 100%.
I'd be okay with it.
Right. And also, there's some safety in that. You have Big Brother watching.
Right.
They're coming in polite.
You. He doesn't have your number yet. So I'd give it a faux pas.
Right. I'm with you.
Unless, again, he's just texting you to say, what's up?
That would be annoying.
Yeah. Then I'd be out. Because I'd be you're finding me on this thing so I can keep talking to you on my work messenger system.
We did this already.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to be a
date.
With purpose.
Yes. A date, an explanation of yourself, an acknowledgement that it's a little weird, and you're good.
I'm with you. Let's do one more. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
They use AI to plagiarize a note or greeting card. Oof, this is going to be near and dear to your heart.
Oh, wow.
Backstory, I've been dating my boyfriend for about a year. At Christmas, I told him I love handwritten cards and thoughtful messages rather than gifts because for me, it's all about the effort and thought that goes into it. Oh, my God.
I hear you, sister.
Right. His card to me at Christmas was very sweet, but it was only a few sentences, and I felt he could do better, so I made a joke. Yeah, about a B. Like, can you imagine he gives someone a card?
I've had this exact same scenario.
Oh my God. But it was only a few sentences. I felt he could do better. I made a joke that there was a lot of blank space in the card when he asked how he did.
I told you I got into a fight with Mike about this early in dating.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the card, and he was like insulted that I told him that I didn't like the card because he's like, I don't even usually write cards, and now you're like saying my card was bad.
This was a gesture.
Yeah.
Right. I'm doing this for you.
Well, I'm like, well, I could be quiet for the rest of my life, or I could tell you.
This card left me unsatisfied.
Right. I was not impressed.
It is such a response that's like a teacher to me. You can do better.
Well, I thought. Well,
I know your work.
This guy left too much blank space. Mike filled in the space. I thought his was too jokey, not sentimental enough.
Mike's was jokey.
Too jokey.
What were the jokes?
They were like little, like they were like making fun of me a little bit, like a little joke. It was like jokey. I was like a little. It was like not like mean spirited, but it was like a little like too like jokey. And I was like, I want you to like say something nice about me.
Right.
Not like
I know you like a card.
Right. Like, oh, you're like you're so cute when you don't put your socks away. Like whatever it was. Like
it's like two people that just met a week ago.
Yeah, something. You know what I mean? Like it was like a little too like ribbing. I thought and I wanted it to be less funny and more sentimental.
That's so. I mean, it is so funny because I do understand. Like I did it.
And now he spends days on those things.
Oh my God. I guess he took this to heart because for Valentine's Day, he made a point to tell me he tried really hard to fill out the entire card. Okay, this guy came back. I was a little disappointed reading it because there was nothing personal.
Round two.
Right.
No.
If she came back the second time, I'm a little disappointed again. Sounds like this is a you problem.
I don't know.
It was right out of a cheesy love story, and that's not what I'm about. Fast forward a couple months, I came across the card while cleaning, and I realized this is not his fucking voice. I work in a school, and we have caught students using AI to write their papers. So I asked him, and he admitted it. He used AI because he wanted it to be perfect and didn't think he could do a good enough job himself.
This is hysterical.
Oh, my God. This is the future. This is what we're heading towards.
She knew.
How did she? Well, he should have waited for the next round of AI once it gets more sentient. Once we start working for the AI, he will be better off once they be...
That's when, I mean, he's not there yet. He underestimated the robots.
Well, he overestimated, yeah. As upset as I was that he did this, I also couldn't help but find it a little comical and laugh at that a 30-year-old man could feel so pressured that he resorted to plagiarism. Whoa. A 30-year-old man could feel so pressured. You said he did it wrong.
You gave him the pressure.
Yeah. What are you talking about? A little pressured. The 30-year-old man. Of course he felt pressured.
Yeah. I could see Mike doing this.
There's a little bit of blank space on here.
I could see Mike doing this.
I could see me doing this.
So funny. I think it's cute that he made the effort.
A effort.
Yes.
I mean,
obviously it would have been better if he just wrote a better card, but
Jared, love you very much. Computing.
Well, I don't think what men understand. What men don't understand about these cards, I don't know why it's so hard to write a nice fucking card. All you have to do is think positive things about this person that's been berating you, but to write the card and put them into words.
Yeah, maybe you put us in a bad space.
Well, that's the tough thing because it's like when you're yelling at someone to write you a nice card, you're like, well, this doesn't feel like romantic that I had to like.
Well, also, it doesn't
critique your card writing abilities.
Well, everything you write, that's not good for the creative process. That every time that you write, oh my God, is this good enough? Is this loving enough? Is this too cheesy? Is she going to make fun of me? Is she going to be angry?
I could say cheesy and heartsease for cards. That's the one place I like a nice card.
So go over nice cheese rather than under cheese.
I like cheesiness written down, given just to me. I don't like a cheesy Instagram caption. I don't like.
This is great advice for people.
Yeah.
Cheesy public, no good.
No.
Cheesy private,
yes.
Good.
Because no one wants to read that disgusting shit on publicly.
Right.
But to you personally, that's
I
when
agree.
you should say your true feelings. It's just between the two of us.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, sincerely, almost serenaded by a robot. That's how they signed off.
Funny.
I hate AI. I don't like it.
You're scared of the robots.
I am terrified. I think no one gives a good reason. They all go, we think it's going to be good for humanity. And you go, well, give me a couple examples. But it all sounds like we're going to be working for the robots. And listen, I
think you just fear change.
I fear one less toll booth worker means one more, oxy.
No, they'll get a different job. They'll work in the factory.
That's what they said about, listen.
They'll work in the AI factory.
They'll build the AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, just coding. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you feel bad for taxi drivers?
Yes, I guess they moved over to Camrys.
Ubers,
Ubers, to Toyota Camry. I don't know.
They'll find something else.
I hope so.
Can't stop progress.
I don't know.
That's what I say when I bring my my bulldozers into Long Beach.
Right. I'm gonna walk into here and there's gonna be a bunch of robots dressed in fucking
They're all Megan dolls.
Yeah. The Betch's office.
That's
it's just a bunch of American girl dogs.
That's my new assistant up there.
Yeah, there it is. Welcome, Jared. Computing. Would you like pumpkin spice?
That sounds amazing.
Dating is hard.
I'm like, what is it? George Burns who's the guy, like the evil.
You're Mr. Burns.
Developer, yeah.
Is he a developer? Yeah.
I don't know. That's me.
And I'm Smithers.
The biggest faux pas you can make, not having faux pas stocked and ready to go for your next girls' night or date night in. Obviously, we love faux pas. We have the vodka flavors in front of us. They're delicious. The tequila flavors, also delicious. There's no bad flavor. I've met people whose favorite flavor is one of all of them. It's like the amazing thing about them. They look great. They taste great. You can't go wrong.
I love them. Delicious. Good buzz. Just a nice easy.
Goes without saying.
I mean, we're in the time of year where this drink makes the most sense.
Yes.
Rooftops, outdoor dining. Just hang with your friends. Put it over some ice. That is the move.
Get ready to go.
Right.
Visit www.fauxpascocktails.com to find your favorite faux pas near you. That's FAUXPAS, and follow @DrinkFauxPas on Insta so you don't miss out on any of the tequila.
We have a live update.
Let's hear it.
Okay, remember I said I had a date tonight?
Yes.
And the wisdom teeth? They have another wisdom tooth coming.
Shut up.
I swear to God.
Let me see it. I don't believe you.
No, you can read it.
Can I read it out loud?
Yeah, I mean.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I've been sleeping all day, as believe it or not, I somehow have COVID.
I've never gotten it. This person's getting COVID every 5 minutes.
No, this is the second time I'm canceling last minute. Maybe third time's the charm, but hoping we can reschedule when I'm feeling better.
That's, again, I got to put it back in their cart. Can't argue that. Yeah. COVID, 1 week.
Who's still testing for COVID? Wow. She was like, I don't feel like going on this date. Let me take a COVID test.
Right.
Just in case.
Yeah, you want to get out of a date. There
should be a special section in the supermarket for get out of a date COVID tests.
Oh my God.
Or any kind of anything you don't want to go to.
It's a good gag gift.
Just in case.
Just give someone a gift that just says
it's a positive COVID test.
Just a positive COVID test.
Yes. No, I'm sure she wanted to go. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, I think this is very funny. Yeah. The idea, should I text back?
Let's see if she's worth it.
I'm going to write back, hey, do you have the positive test you can send me a picture of with the date?
Please do that.
Should I say that?
You should. Why not?
Okay, let's see what happens. No problem. Totally understand.
Can you text me a picture so that I can confirm?
Just send me a picture of the positive COVID test with today's date.
For my records.
With today's newspaper for my records. Do you think she'll think this is funny? Because I think it's funny. I'm down to go out. I'm not even like.
She knows you're a comedian.
I think so.
Okay. I assume. I'm trying to think if I got that.
No problem. Totally understand. Just send me a picture of the positive COVID test with today's newspaper for my records.
Send it.
Send
it.
Okay.
And you guys will find out on the Sunday special how that went.
Right.
You'll have to stay tuned. That's it for us for today.
We did it again. Oh, live show. Come.
Oh, yeah. It's this week. It's on May 18th in Chicago. Be there. If there's any tickets left.
There's tickets
I don't even know. All right. Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow @u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.